Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, we've featured Allegem a few times in the past, and they've sent another puzzle which looks just fascinating. I'm not sure if we've featured a bulbless thermo rule set before. We may have done. It rings the vaguest of bells. But Allegem very surprisingly says there's some very interesting logic that this rule set, which I think he was searching Richard Stolk's set of Sudoku variants for a rule set that hadn't been used much, and he came up with this one. And he says, yeah, very interesting. So really looking forward to giving it a go. And of course, don't forget, join us on Patreon, $2 or $3 a month for some fantastic content, including a Sudoku hunt every month from the 1st to the 20th, including all sorts of crossword and Sudoku videos and puzzles. There's just always something odd going on Patreon, so join us there. And of course, you can find your way to the Discord server, where there's always something odd going on as well, with the links under the video, which will also take you to all of our apps, which are brilliant and include Thermo Sudoku, to Sven's SUDOKU PAD, to our merchandise, and everything to do with the channel, including the catalogue of all our puzzles, where you can look up how many times we've done Allegem before. I'm guessing 4. Random shot in the dark. Don't know. Anyway, we are going to look at the rules of this puzzle now, which are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we're going to put 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box, if we can. Digits along a line must be strictly increasing in one direction or the other. So basically every line is a thermo, but we don't know which end is the bulb. This is just bonkers. Digits separated by the white dot are consecutive, so those are 2 consecutive digits. Digits separated by the black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio, so those two have, one is double the other. And that's it, that's all we get. A few lines and a chance to fill in a grid. I ask for nothing more. Let's get, let's get cracking now. Okay, so what are we going to do? I'll tell you something I've thought now, is the black dot and white dot must disambiguate the difference between high and low. In fact, I'm going to go further and say the black dot does that on its own, which is really interesting to me as a Sudoku nerd. So what I'm thinking is, if that black dot wasn't there, you could fill this whole puzzle somehow with the digits 1 to 9, obviously. And then if you decided to subtract every digit from 10, so 5 remains 5, but 1 becomes 9, etc., the puzzle would still hang together. The thermos would just be going in the opposite directions. This consecutive pair would be fine. They would still be consecutive. But the black dot would presumably, as this puzzle is meant to have a unique solution, the black dot would be broken, which is really interesting. That doesn't necessarily mean that we will disambiguate the black dot at the end of the puzzle. Indeed, I hope not. Because if that was to be the case, then one way to do the puzzle, which I'm going to resist as long as possible, is with placeholder digits. Now, placeholder digits are where you just choose a direction, maybe, for one of the thermos. And if this was, say, a 1 or a 9, if we could prove that, then you would just choose 1, and you'd know that was the low end of this thermo. And you'd continue to fill in the grid until you reached perhaps an impossibility. You'd either reach the correct ending if that turned out to have to be a 1. But if it turned out to have to be a 9 and you had selected a 1, then you'd reach a point at which you had to subtract everything you'd actually filled in from 10. Now, I'm hoping to resist that methodology, although it is sometimes the best, weirdly, for solving puzzles. Okay. I've thought of something finally. Right, something that's really weird. I often tell you this when we're doing a thermo puzzle, and yet it just hasn't occurred to me to use it in this. I think it's something to do with the missing bulbs. So what I'm now thinking is that on a thermo, you can only put 1 on a bulb and 9 on a tip. Now we don't know which are the bulbs and which are the tips, but we do know a bunch of cells that aren't bulbs or tips. And none of these cells can include 1 or 9 accordingly. I mean, actually, if we highlighted all the cells in the puzzle that can't include 1 or 9, it goes some way. It's all of those, because they're not bulbs or tips, they're middle thermo cells. So the 1 and 9 in row 5, or the 1 and 9 in box 5 are in row 5. This is not a 1, 2 black dot, and the odd digit on the white dot is 3, 5, or 7. Okay, I think we can go a bit further, actually. So there are some cells in this puzzle which cannot be in the first 2 cells of a thermo, and therefore, yeah, this doesn't apply to the 4-cell thermos, because from one end or another, each cell on that is within the first 2 cells. But these 3 cells, let's make them yellow, these 2 on this one, those, they cannot be 1, 2, 8, or 9. In fact, look at that, that is giving us a quintuple. That's interesting, isn't it? In row 4. This is a 1, 2, 8, 9 quadruple, therefore, and indeed now these must be, okay, let's get rid of the yellow. These must be of the same polarity. They're either 1 and 2 or they're 8 and 9. So these are a pair as well. I'm going to colour green versus purple for the polarities. And this one is 2 or 8. This one is 1 or 9. That's just what I was hypothesizing. That's good. Now, these cells, so we've got also a quintuple in the middle block, in the middle box. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this cell, which can't be 1 or 9, is from 1, 2, 8, 9. So that's 2 or 8. This is 1 or 9. This one can't be the same color as these ones because this is a pair of either 1, 2, or 8, 9. So it's the other color. And this is the same color because it's on the same end of the thermo. And these cells include, well, they do include 1 and 9, but they include the purple 2 or 8. And the third purple 2 or 8 in the middle rows goes here somewhere. The third purple 1 or 9 also goes here. So either the 2 purple 1, 9, 2, 8 are in these cells, or one of them is here, which would be interesting. Oh, here's something odd. Let's imagine that's a 1. That's seeing both ends of this thermo. So this thermo then couldn't. Does that limit this cell? Not quite. It limits it to not being the green 3 or 7. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's quite an interesting thing. This cell can't be the green 3 or 7 either, because it's not close enough to the 1, 9 and the 2, 8 in green. Oh, okay, and both of these cells, well, this cell is going to definitely end in 2 purples. This thermo, I think I called it a cell, sorry. This thermo is definitely going to end in 2 purples because we're up to digits 6 and 7 along the thermo there. Sorry, I'm just going to look at this text, which looks like a scam. That is definitely a scam. That's very strange. Okay, I'm going to mute the phone. Sorry about that. This cell also, which is the 6th on its thermo, is also definitely purple. I'm not colouring that purple in case it's a 5. But these can't be the same digit. So if purple was high, they can't both be 9s. That sort of feels potentially interesting because they're in the same column. So one of them would have to be an 8, and whichever one, I'm imagining purple is high. If purple is high, one of these can't be a 9 and has to be an 8. And that one can't have a 7 2 cells before it on the thermo. So the 9 would have to have the 7 2 cells before it on the thermo. I don't know if that does anything. Now, I was beginning to think about where these third digits were. So the third green 1 or 9 is in these cells, where the 2 purples from here are also in those cells and are in these 3. But what about this green 2 or 8? You see, if it's on the white dot, that is informative. It can't be there because on its thermo, this would have to be the green 1 or 9, and that's sitting here. Oh, it can't be here either. That's gorgeous. Right. This goes a tiny bit deeper. I need you to imagine that, let's pretend again that green is low. This is a 2, that's a 2. Can that be a 2? And the answer is no, because now this is a 1. And this digit is either, well, it can't be 1, so it would have to be 3. But this is all impossible, because you've got 3 there, 2 there, and 1 there. What on earth goes here? 3 must be at the lower end of the thermo. That becomes impossible. So neither of those are the green 2 8, and therefore it goes here. I don't know if that's going to help, but it's really interesting. We've got, well, yes, of course it helps. We've got a 1 2 8 9 quad in the middle row. Not only do we know that the even digit on here is 4 or 6, that's not so interesting. What we do know is that 1, 2 and 8 are not on this black dot, and it has to be a 3 6 black dot. And this might actually take us to a disambiguation of the polarities. That sounds like Bonfire of the Vanities or something, doesn't it? So these other digits in the row, oh, well, they're 4, 5, 7, so that's a 4, 5 pair. This is a 7. Ooh. Well, that can't be, this can't be the low end of this thermo, because this can't be bigger than 7, for instance. That's 4 or 5. So this is 8 or 9, and these are not 8 and 9, they are low, which is, I think, what I've been hypothesizing throughout. So that green is low and purple is high. Let's change it to orange and blue so I really feel comfortable. There we go. Okay, so this group of cells is now a 189 triple. This is 2 or 3 now, because we're ascending from this end. That's 3 or 4. I mean, I can colour these blue. I don't know if there's going to be any point continuing the colouring now we've broken it wide open. Oh, this is an 8-9 pair. Right, and now these thermos are getting much more precise. This is 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 or 6, 5, 6 or 7, 6, 7 or 8, 7, 8 or 9. This, ooh, what do we know about this thermo? Do we know which way it goes? Let's just look at the rest of this box. We've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 9 placed. 3, 6 and 7 are in the remaining cells. But that 4, 5 comes between either, well, one of these now must be 3, must be higher or lower. I don't know which one yet, I don't think. So Oh, this one, I haven't marked this up. This is slightly shorter thermo than this one. So this is 3, 4, 5 or 6. That's 4, 5, 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7 or 8, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I might get some sort of triple going in the columns because I'd like to get out of columns 4, 5, 6. Now, what was going on up here? So if that's low, 3, 4 or 5, 6 or 7, then this would be 7, 8. That would be 8 or 9. But if we're going the other way, it's 7 or 6, 4 or 5, 3, and then that's 2 and that's 1. If that's 2 and 1, that's 3 and 4, and that becomes a 5. If that's from 7, 8, 9, then that has to be a 6. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that's lovely. Right. Okay, the simpler thing to see, maybe, is that there's a stacking issue with this thermo because of this cell. If I made this a 5, that necessarily becomes a 4, so that that can be a 3. And then we've got a 5, 4 pair there, and that cell's impossible to fill. So this is not a 5, it's 6 or 7. That we can follow up towards the top end of the thermo. And now we've got this cell, which is 8 or 9. So we can't, well, actually, we can't make these both high from 7, 8, 9, because we'd have 4 cells from 7, 8, 9. So these are not high, these are low now, 2 and 1. And that does fix this one, 3, 4, 5. No 5 in those cells. That's a 4, 8, 9 triple. Also no 5 in these. Oh, this has become a 3 over this side, and this is not a 3. This is a 6, 7 pair. They both see that cell, but also the 4, 8, 9 triple sees that cell. So that's a definite 5. This is 3 or 4, which is a pair with that cell. Oh, in fact, that cell's seeing a 3. Oh, it's coming now. Lovely. This is not 5, that's not 6. Right. 4, 8, 9. Now, in this row, oh, that's become an 8. That's a 9, so this is not a 9, this is not an 8. This is also not a 9, and this is not an 8. This central triple that we almost began with is gradually getting disambiguated. I don't quite know what's going on. Oh, that's a 6, 7 pair now. Ah, okay. Right, we can't put 1 and 9 in these positions. And now they see a 6, 7 pair and 4, 5, and they can't be 1 or 9. So those are from 2, 3, and 8, but neither of them can be an 8 because we've had 8 in the box. I was going to say because of that 9, but it's for the simple reason. Right, so now there's a 1 in one of those positions, and the central digit in the puzzle is an 8, and that's a 7, that's a 6. I am going to get rid of the colouring now because I don't think it's doing anything anymore. That becomes a 7. 2, 3, 7, 4, 5, 6. These are from 1, 8, 9. These are from 1, 4, 5, and one of them is definitely a 1. These are from 4, 5, 2. Oh, well, there's only one way for that to work on this thermo, because they have to be 3 apart. So that is a 2, 5 pair. This is a 3, 4 pair. That's 1 or 9. I can see it can't be 8. So there's an 8 in one of those cells. Oh, yes, obviously that wasn't 8. 1, 9 pair in the column. This is now 5 and 6. There's no 5 here. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4 thermo in some order. Now 5, 6 there. These are either 7 and 8 or 9 to make a triple with that, or they're 3 and 4. And we know the order. If they're 3 and 4, they're like that. If they're 7 and 8 or 9, they're in that order. Because of the thermo. That's really odd. So 3 and 4. This one can't be 1, 2, 7 or 6. That's quite a lot of possibilities. 1, 2, 3. It's a very interesting variant. You're absolutely right, Alagem. This is not what I was expecting from this at all. 2 can't be here. So the 2 in column 2 is in one of those 2 places. I think it can still be on the, what would be the beginning of this thermo. Okay, this digit, 2, 4, 5, 8 or 9, just by Sudoku. It's seeing that 7, 6, and oh, that 1, 3 is seeing the black dot. This is, okay, I hadn't put 6 there. What next? This is so odd as a puzzle. This, I suppose, no, well, this sees 2, 3, 6 and 7, and it can't be 1 or 9. So that is quite limited, 4, 5 or 8. If it was an 8, that would have to be a 9. If it was 4 or 5, well, then I don't think, well, the thermo could only go ascending from the bottom. If that was a 5 and this was a 4 and that was a 2, and that's weirdly impossible for an unusual reason. So this is a kind of double if statement, so this may not matter, but I was wondering if this was 4 or 5, could we possibly ascend from here? And the answer's no, but it's quite complicated and it's actually very lovely. If that was a 5, if it was a 4, we couldn't ascend from here because by Sudoku, this cell would see 4, 3 and 2 and isn't allowed to be a 1. If that was a 5, we could only ascend from here if this was a 4 and this was a 2, given these digits up here. But for that to be a 2-4 pair breaks this pair because that is either a 2-3 or a 4-5 pair. So it's got an even digit in it. So that can't be 2-4, which is a really interesting way of looking at it. But all that proves is that if this is 4 or 5, this is the low end of the thermo. It doesn't actually say either which way the thermo goes or what this cell is. So whilst interesting and explainable, it's not actually actively helpful. There's a 1 in one of these cells. That's not interesting. Oh, look, it's absolutely beautiful. It's the sort of the same thing up here. That can't be 3 and that 4, because 3, 4 are a pair in one row. So if that was 3, that would push 3 here. But that would make both of these into 4. So that's not 3 and 4. In fact, this is a 7. Oh, that's so clever, actually. This now sees an 8, 9 pair. Oh, I want to say this has to be the low end. If this was the high end of this thermo, it would go 5, 4, 3, 2. This can't be a 1, remember. And that can't work because there would be nowhere for 3 in this column. So this is not the high end. This is the low end of this thermo, and therefore this is not a 2, and this is. This is the low end of a thermo that can't have an 8 here, because then we'd have 8, 9 breaking that cell. So this is 7, 6 or 5. This is 4, 5 or 6. Where's 3? 3 is there or there, I suppose, in the column. I've got that 8, 9 pair. 7, 8, 9, 2, 1. These are all from 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're ascending up to here. So this is more than 5, but it sees 6 and 7. So that's 8 or 9, and that's a pair in the column. 3 in the column has to be in one of those cells. Oops, one of those cells was what I was trying to do there. Now, is there some sort of play between these? If that was 4, 5, that would have to be 6 and 7. I don't quite get it. I think there's something going on here that I should be able to see at this point. Sorry, I can't quite see what that is. Oh, that too. It's very straightforward. That sees this cell, so we get to fill in this whole thermo. Have we identified the bulbs on all the thermos now? No, not at all, actually. No clue on that one, and still don't know on that one. Anyway, we got 2, 3 there, and that did nothing. But 4, 5 comes out of that cell, which is 3 or 6. So there must be a 4 in one of these two. 2 is now in one of those two cells. 3 is in one of those two, in box 9. 4 is definitely on this piece of meat, this 2 by 2 thermo. I feel something's totally given here. I can't see what it is. Maybe not. Maybe we just need to keep working, searching, and striving. This digit is 4, 5, 7, 8, or 9 by Sudoku. It sees a lot of low digits. This one is not allowed to be 1 because of its position, and it sees 2 and 3. So 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Now, come on. Do we know the direction? That's what I want to know. Does 2 have to be on this? I don't think we do. I don't think we've been told the direction of this thermo. Maybe I'm being a bit dense there, but... there may be digits here that this can't have. Oh look, we've got that 8 or 9, so this can't be 8. So now we've got 4 or 5 in this cell. Well, I'll tell you what that does. That's beautiful. That means this cell can't be 4 or 5, because then you'd have 4 and 5 in those positions, and what could come between them? We're not allowed to put 4.5 in a Sudoku cell. So this is 7, 8, or 9. Clearly this is the high end of the thermo. So this is less than 5 or 4. And this is in between 4 and 5 and 7, 8, or 9, which doesn't narrow it down much. But this is the low end, the bulb end of this thermo. 4 by Sudoku in this box has to be in one of those cells now, given the pencil marking here. So that's not a 4. And now 4 in column 3 is definitely here. And that must be a 3 on the Sudoku, on the thermo, on the Sudoku. 6 there. 6 is either sitting there or in one of those two. 2, 6, this can't be 6. We've got 3 here. We need 7 in one of those positions. We need a 6 either there or there by Sudoku now. Got 4 up here, 2 in one of those, 3 in one of those. We've got lots of bits and bobs of Sudoku restriction going on. 2, 3... where do 1 and 9 go in this column? We haven't really thought about that. 3, 1, 6 here. We need to put 4 in one of those two. And 4 in one of... I mean, these definitely have 2 4s in these cells. Right, I need to limit these a bit. What's going to do that for me? I don't know. This is weird. 2, 1, 7. We need a 3. I know that. I've marked that. Now, I haven't used this. Oh, we know the order of this 5, 6. That's been available forever. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but it's there, it's available. Got to use what you can get. There's a 7 in one of these two cells. 7, 2. Oh, look, I've got a 6 looking up at that. That's huge, I think. 6 there. That's not a 6. So 6 is placed in box 9. That's not quite a triple. 5, 5. One of those is a 5. None of this corner marking has actually done me any good yet. That's unfair, actually. I just used the 6 bit there. Sorry, corner marking. Right. One of these is an 8. 2, 1, 5, 7. Now, we've either got 1, 2 here. Right. 3, 4 is a pair there, and is either a pair there or a pair there. And that means it's either a pair here or a pair here. Well, we know the 3 is on that side. That must mean the 4 is over this side. And that makes this white dot digit a 5. That's elegant. Then we have to place 5 in box 7, and it goes there. Then this is 7 or 8 by Sudoku. By Thermo, that's 8 or 9 in the bulb. Come on, keep working. We've got that 8, 9 pair. These are from... we need a 7 in column 2. There it is. And these are a known pair of 3, 6. We know the order even, thanks to this 6. The 3 sorts out 2, 3. That sorts out this Thermo. That's the last bulb we needed to find, by the way. There. We need a 4 in the top row. That's 8 or 9. This is a 5, 8, 9 triple. This is a 1, 2, 7, also chocolate teapot triple. Even more teapotty than the other one. Sorry, I've got the markings wrong there. That's better. Now, down this column, that is 1, 8 or 9. This is a triple. This is 2, 4. This is a naked 2. Ooh, so 2 didn't get on the Thermo, to my surprise. 4 did. That places 4 in box 6. 5 is placed in box 1. Just getting rid of that corner mark. That's not done. This is 2 or 7. This is a naked 7. That sorts out my chocolate teapot triple. This is a 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. That's a 1. We're finishing off the 9s and 8s in the final 3 columns, if we get our typing accurate. This has become a 1. That sorts out columns 4, 5, and 6 in their entirety. I think we are finishing off now with a great deal of pleasure and enjoyment. That is a really brilliant puzzle, Allergem. Absolutely right to bring it to our attention. 7 there. Bingo. What a lovely puzzle. 52 solves in a month. Deserves more. I hope you've had a go at that. Inner Harmony is the title, and I think it's very appropriate for that puzzle, not just because we had to look at the inner cells. I think that was relevant. I didn't think of it at the time on the thermos, but because of the general inner harmony that doing Sudoku brings to us and eases our mental health problems during the day. That's my belief. I'm sticking with it. Come back for more of it tomorrow with us on Cracking the Cryptic. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.